And we are live. There we go. Hello, everyone. Today we are talking about Thor, Love and Thunder. Whether you're catching us on the replay or you're here, thank you for being here. And I am joined by Ben from Meters Reviews. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Very excited to talk about Thor with you, and yeah, excited, man.
Perfect. Yeah, I definitely didn't just ask that question a minute ago, but we see that Jason is already here, which is great. We have 3 viewers, it says. And yeah, this is kind of just a last minute thing. I told Ben this, but I'll go out and straight up say it. I wasn't sure if I would be able to do a proper review of this, especially without spoilers, just because this movie is a complete mixed bag for me. It is just there's a lot I want to get into. So I know that you liked it a lot more. I watched your review and everything. So this will be fun.
Yeah, I'm. This is a very divisive movie, apparently, and I mean, I wanted to go rewatch it today, but I didn't end up getting to it. And I do want to rewatch it too, because sometimes rewatches can like really solidify your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
But I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, yeah. I just saw it. Let's see. It's 8:40 today. I think I saw it around what 1:45, so like 7 hours ago. So my thoughts may change over time, but I've really thought about what I like and what I don't like. So I hope all that is clear. I hope I make everything clear here. Um, I would say overall this movie is okay. My just overall very broad thoughts here are that the first act isn't really that good. The second act gets better, but the third act is really good. So that's my just very short opinion.
Okay.
What about you?
Um, I I kind of feel the same. Like the movie started off, and I was feeling a little iffy. I was like,
Yeah.
I like this, I don't love this, and then it took a little while, but then I finally got there, and you said you mentioned you watched my review, and I said in my review that there is one point, and I guess we'll talk about it. Is the
Yeah,
point
yeah.
where Jane tells Thor that she has cancer, and like I was like, okay, I'm on board now, and it's a little alarming because like you're getting very close to the end of the movie, but I feel like that's when I started to like have a really fun time with it because I think the emotions hit, and for whatever reason, it just worked.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. I think that scene was good, but at the same time, for me, I also thought that that whole subplot, there were times where it was dealt with well. It really just seemed like an excuse for Jane to just have a reason to not be in any of the projects. I really liked the Mighty Thor scenes. I think when she was first in there, obviously we knew it was going to be her from the trailer, but I think that was really good. But it just seemed like she hasn't been there for so long. Now she's back. Oh, but she's gone again. So for me, I just felt this movie was super throwaway. You mentioned that you said it was kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon in
Yeah.
your review. And yeah, I could kind of see that. But for me, I mean, I was so excited for this movie. And yes, there still are great things about it, but it is probably the most disappointing MCU movie so far out of all of them.
Wow. Okay.
Hot take, maybe? I don't know.
No, I mean, I think I can see it. I Part of me feels, sometimes when everyone can like, when everyone, you're hearing all these thoughts about people disliking this movie heavily, and I'm like, sometimes you think to yourself like, is this really as good as I thought it was? Do you ever feel like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I always second guess myself.
And I and so and that's why I think I was looking forward to the rewatch, and I would like to do it hopefully within the next couple of days if I can get to it. But um, that's unfortunate that you were disappointed by it.
Yeah, I mean, I always would rather go into a movie and really enjoy it. And I've seen a ton of people here that either really love it and then a ton of people that like hate it. And I'm not on either side. I don't think it is an incredible movie, but I don't think it's awful. I think some things in here are really great, but I also think some things in here are really just not too good. And we have a few people in here. We have William Mann who says, first time here for Ewan's channel, but Ben is the gosh darn man and one of my favorite YouTube reviewers and got me over here. Hello to you both. Hello to you. Thank you for coming.
You're too kind. William. Thank you.
That is awesome. And just a quick little question before we get into it. Do you think Phase 4 is the worst phase of the MCU?
I don't think so.
What do you think is the weakest phase?
I think it might be 1.
Fair point. Yeah. I don't really know because it's not complete, I think. I don't really know. It kind of can go back and forth between this and 1, although there are some just really great movies for 1, but I've also had the most time to sit with them, so I'll say it's on the weaker end. It's either the worst or the second worst.
Because 1 has, I think, when I think of like the great movies, it's Iron Man and Avengers. Is that it?
Yeah. And then I really enjoyed the first Avenger, like Captain America.
Oh yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one in a while.
I've always loved that one.
I think they were just like finding their footing, getting started, and then I think why I say 1. When I rewatched Thor, I was like, this is really dull. And I just do not like that movie. I haven't gone back to rewatch Incredible Hulk, the black sheep of the MCU.
Me neither.
And so yeah, I guess that's just why I said 1.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It's hard for me to think off the top of my head, but I'd say maybe so far. Although there have been movies that I have really enjoyed in it, so I don't really know. But let's talk about the movie. So Act 1, the opening here, I was like, okay, so I like the setup with gore, but I could tell from the first scene this is going to be rushed 100%. And for me, it was messy and all over the place where like it's a super intense scene where his daughter's killed and there's all this stuff that happens. He goes to like whatever that thing is called. He goes to it and he's like asking for more. And then there's like these flower people laughing at him. And I'm like, okay, sure. Like I'll give you a chance, but for me that really threw me off. What do you think?
I think something that threw me off was it didn't start off with the Marvel Studios logo.
Yeah, that was weird. Actually, when it started off, and I watched it with my girlfriend, who is not the biggest Marvel fan, and she goes, "Is this the movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like I can see why.
When the screening that I went to, they were like showing ads beforehand, so I was like, almost like a replacement for trailers, and I was like, okay, what the hell is this? And then it started, and I was like, is this the movie? And then and then when I first saw Gore. Christian Bale, I was like, oh, okay. It was a little odd. I think Chris from 3C Films, I watched his spoiler review, and he talked about how it was a little. I think the majority of his thoughts were they didn't balance the comedy and the drama well enough, and in that scene, also how the darkness kind of overtakes Gore instead of just like a thing taking over someone rather than it being like their actual real I guess passion. You know what I mean by that?
I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah.
Like Wanda, she had the dark hold, and now him having, I forget what they called it, but
that sword thing.
Yeah. So it was an interesting start.
Yeah, it was just kind of odd. Yeah, see, it seems that more people are agreeing that it was just a really strange opening. But I will say, Gore as a villain, when he was there, was phenomenal. Now, maybe I'm a little bit biased because Christian Bale is my favorite actor, probably of all time. So I was very excited to, 1, see him return to comic book films, and 2, see him playing a villain, and one that just looked this cool. I was just very interested, and I'll go back to this later, but every scene he was in, he was the best. He was the stand-up for the movie, but he was not in it enough. But yeah, that's my quick mini little opinion here.
That's fair. I think maybe 2 or 3 more scenes, maybe developing the relationship between Thor and Gore specifically could have helped more.
Yeah, that's really what I think. I think that it just felt like, here's a good guy, and here's this bad person who just shows up randomly. I think that Alex Lopez said it best right here when he just said he disappeared for a really long time, and I was like, where is he? Like, obviously he's taken a bunch of these kids and stuff, but for me, when I first read that this movie is an hour and 59 minutes, just like it seems everybody else. I was very worried because I don't remember the last time where we had an MCU movie be that short. And yeah,
Yeah.
it needed to be at least 20 minutes longer. And I don't mind if movies are that short, but even just kind of continuing on along here, when it first, reintroduces Thor here and Korg's telling the story, it just always good again. Like I was like, oh, okay, so nothing really.
Just out of curiosity, did you feel the same way with Multiverse of Madness, it being too short or rushed?
Not to the same extent, but only like a little. Like I feel like there could have been like 10 minutes more, but that's it.
Okay. Because that was like 2-7, right?
Yeah, yeah,
2007. Yeah,
yeah,
so it was very, very close. I don't know why, but the Marvel movies as of recently, they have been shorter.
yeah. I was trying to think. I was like, I'm hoping that I'm not saying that right, but yeah, I remember Multiverse of Madness overall. Like I like that movie quite a bit more here, but there were so many scenes where like in my head, I could totally be wrong, that I totally saw like they cut this out, they cut this out, they cut this out just for time length. Like it just felt like they cut out so many important scenes and just even like certain I can't say cut certain shots within scenes that just feel like
Yeah.
they were completely removed for me.
So I think a couple people were pointing this out. I feel like there was a chunk of them. There was maybe like a subplot, which I don't know if I would have necessarily preferred it. I think if it wanted to develop Valkyrie more, I feels like there was a subplot with her. They kind
Yeah.
of cut out.
Yeah, she was just there and I was like, I like your character a lot. She was just there and then they gave like the line like it was like, yeah, and all the people you like died. And it's like, oh, that's sad. Anyway, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's for me was like so much of the drama in this movie is like, damn, bro, that sucks. Anyway, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like the most rushed scene, and I don't want to jump to it, but
That's okay.
I think it was in the second act when Jane goes to New Asgard and she finds Mjolnir, like the broken pieces, and like just like that, she's already Mighty
Yeah.
Thor.
Oh my God. That's what I mean. Is that you're totally right there. It's like she just shows up and it's like obviously it's gonna be her. They still have like her hooded and all stuff, and then she feels it,
Yep.
boom. Oh look, she showed up at battle. Like just kind of adding on. And for those who are watching, this movie's okay. I'm just hating on the first act because I don't think it's a good first act. Later on it
Okay.
gets better. But I'll just preface it by saying that. But you know what? Let's talk about that whole kind of reconnection of those two. Obviously, Thor and Jane. What'd you think?
The relationship I really liked. I'm a sucker for Natalie Portman.
Fair,
Um, she, uh, she's probably my favorite actress,
good take.
and I was really excited to see her back. And as when she was just Jane, not the mighty Thor, I thought she was fine. I think she only really stood out because it was Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm glad that they definitely gave her more to do. But she also didn't overtake the spotlight from Thor.
good.
It,
Yeah.
it really was a Thor movie, and I think there were a lot of people that are gonna be like, "Oh, it's gonna be the Mighty Thor movie, and it's not gonna be Chris Hemsworth's movie." And it's like, no, it
No,
is.
it is 100% Chris Hemsworth movie, and really he shines. All the acting here is good. Chris Hemsworth, of course, is fantastic as Thor. I know you said in your review this is like the first time that you really started to like really kind of get Thor, if I'm
Yeah,
saying that right. And I've liked him quite a bit for the past few movies, but I can see that. I think he was really great. I think Natalie Portman was very good, although again, some of her scenes were really cut short and some emotional moments later on hit a little bit, but not as hard as they were supposed to. She was great, but Christian Bale was like for me the standout, just easily the
that's
standout.
that's fair. I mean, what's what I think is so crazy is the fact that I saw like a TikTok that was like Christian Bale turned down every single comic book movie role that was offered to him until Thor: Love and Thunder,
Yeah,
and I was like, damn.
like
Uh,
he definitely saw something in the character.
I know, and I think it was that he just had so much of a character to play with. He could bring that little kind of spooky, but he could also give like an almost comedic performance because he's just chewing up the scenery. I think with what he did a really good job.
Me too. I think that he was like the creepiest villain we've seen, at least in quite a bit, if not ever, in the MCU. Just, Multiverse of Madness was more of a horror movie, but here it's just the the way he changes his voice and adds some grit to it. It's so smart. It's so cool. And of course, with all the color and the color draining, like I thought that was a really cool choice. And I think there's a scene in the third act that I think is amazing, but we'll get to that.
Well, is it the black and white?
Yeah, well, it's when it first changes to black and white, and then th- uh, Gore and Thor. I just thought of that. Wow, um, that's what they should have called it. Uh, Thor 4, Gore v. I can't even say
Or v
it.
Thor.
Gore
Yeah,
v. Thor. Oh wait,
like
I
that.
gotta cut. Jason, thank you so
Wow,
much. $30 super chat. You're the best. Congratulations on 3K subs. Your work is incredible. Thank you for working your butt off. Thank you for all this. You're a legend. You're the very best in the world and in this community. Thank you very much. Yes, right before I started watching the movie, I noticed I hit 3K. And that's another reason why I did this, just to kind of let people come in and whatever. But thank you, Jason. That means the world.
yeah, congrats, man. It's a big
Thank you.
accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah, you're almost at 500, so that's really great. I noticed that too. And I noticed that YouTube has been doing this, and it did this to me last year too, where it unsubscribes people like from channels. So if it gives you another
Oh,
notification saying I've subscribed again, that's why. So
okay.
I was, trust me.
No,
But
no worries, no worries.
I remember, I forget who it was. It happened to somebody else's channel too, and I was like, what? Like that's so weird. But yes, thank you to everyone here. It means a lot. It's really cool to see the community continue to grow. I hope to hit 5K by the end of the year. That is my goal. It's my overall goal.
Dude, I don't know. I see it. I see it.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very close. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Thank you. That means a lot. I just think, it's fun. It's always fun. I was on a live stream last night. Now we're here talking about this movie. And again, like stuff like this, I really love because it feels like the most kind of personal way to discuss movies. And that's why I really like this community.
Yeah, I've personally never done a live stream. I do want to do one soon, but because it's just sometimes you don't want to edit for however long it takes. It takes me like 2 to 3 hours,
Oh
and
my
I'm just
gosh.
like, I don't really want to do that right now. And I feel slumped with just making, I don't know, 3 videos in the last 2 days. I'm like, yeah, I want to take a break. So it's sometimes live streams are just good to just talk.
They are. It's good to just literally sit back like this and chill
Yes.
and talk. And I noticed you've been posting so much, and I was like, oh my god, am I like disturbing that? But yeah, like last night I filmed that Stranger Things Metallica video, and I was like, I didn't want to edit it, but I was pushing myself to because I knew I wouldn't touch it for days, so I got it out. But yeah, that took a long time to edit, so it's fun to do stuff like this.
And I don't know about you, but like videos like the video you just posted, which I did watch a little bit of. I'll finish it later. But
Thank you.
you were like the kind of the cutting in between like footage from a movie or a TV show and then like back to you and the back and back and back. It's a bitch.
It is. It sucks. That's why it takes so long, and because I was using this and I never have before, and I only use it because I can record guitar in that at the same time, so that's the only reason I used it. But yeah, it was a weird thing. I'd never done it before. But anyway, back to
Yes,
Thor. Back to Thor. But thank you, everyone. Back to Thor. Oh, Alex is saying a few things here. I think we should probably address them. Thor felt like a goofy character here, and in Thor 1 and the Avengers film, he had a serious gripe, but a little comedic. I wish struggles lost on Thor. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I love Ragnarok. I've seen it once, I will say, like quite a bit ago, but I don't mind the kind of goofy take on Thor. I don't really mind.
And neither do I, and I feel like that's why I love the character. I mean, I know a lot of people dislike that, but for whatever reason, it works for me. Before Thor, he took him. Not that they took it too seriously, but he was just really full of himself, and I was like, I don't really like this guy. Like he almost needs like he needs a reality check, and like, but the fact that I don't know what Taika did to the character, I think just really worked.
Yeah, and Taika Waititi is a director I absolutely love. I think that he makes so many phenomenal movies, but here maybe
Too much.
I don't know if it was just him, but there was a bit too much for me personally. It really, there wasn't the balance. And I think, again, a lot of that is just the length. I feel like there was not enough time to balance everything. So I'm not blaming it on him specifically because I know how much studio interference happens here. But as much as I love Jojo Rabbit, love Ragnarok, really enjoy What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People, this one was the first time where I've seen other people say it where they say it's too much, and I wouldn't exactly word it like that, but it was a lot to take in under 2 hours personally.
I can see that. Just out of curiosity, do you watch the What We Do in the Shadows TV show?
I have not, but I've heard it's good.
Okay, because I was gonna ask if I should watch it. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. Have you seen the movie?
no.
Okay, the movie's very fun. It's so just like if you like his style, you'll like it.
Okay.
And not even to this extent. So that's pretty good. Alex also says apparently Matt Damon was supposed to have more scenes since he's been on set for a couple of days. I felt so jealous of the film test screening audience who got to see the full 4 hours.
That's crazy. I didn't know that that was a thing.
Really? What else would they have? I mean, they barely hit 2 hours, honestly. So I want to know what they cut out that made it 4 hours long.
I don't know. Did you know, like, and this ties into the second act, I'm pretty sure. Did you know that Melissa McCarthy was going to be in the movie?
No, no.
Dude, I did. I turned to my brother and I was like, it's going to be Melissa McCarthy. I think they someone leaked set photos but I don't remember looking at them. But then when I saw it, I was like, maybe I did see something about this. But that scene was really funny.
Yeah, I like that scene. I was glad that we got to see Matt Damon them again. I don't really see what other scenes he would have had because he had like two, and they had the little performance scene, and then they made a joke about like, should we entertain everyone with all this? Yeah, and I don't agree with this at all. Obviously, Alex isn't either. I saw, I think Alex or somebody said it on Brandon's stream last night, and yeah, I was like, what? Like, really, I cannot think of any Marvel performance, at least in the last few years, that it should be Razzie worthy. There aren't many performances in like big movies like this that would be, but I could be wrong.
I was trying to think. What about Morbius? That's not MCU.
Yeah, well,
that's a separate conversation.
The greatest film of all time. No,
Thor. I don't. First of all, I think the Razzies are stupid. So that's dumb. But I don't. I think that's a little too harsh.
I think so too. I think that people saying that don't understand the new take on Thor. They don't understand all that stuff. And I've realized that we missed out on one kind of slightly important thing, but another thing that was rushed. The Guardians of the Galaxy are in this film. And I almost forgot they were, which again, maybe says something because they're some of my favorite characters in the MCU. So I think that their scenes were good. But again, it was like they show up, they're in battle, Thor shows up, gets a really strong welcome to the jungle plays, and boom, it's done. And then they're gone. Whatever. There were some good jokes there, but
I think the only reason why they were there is to do the how did Thor end up here?
Okay, and that's fair.
Because I think where we left off after Endgame, he was with them, if I'm remembering correctly.
I can't remember exactly. Was it just a funeral, or were they together?
I think he left Asgard to Valkyrie, and then he was just like, I'm
gonna go. Yeah.
So I think it was just like okay, well, might as well put the Guardians of the Galaxy in here.
Fair.
But that's really true. Like, they are completely forgettable.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that some of my favorite Marvel characters are forgettable here. So that's a good point though, to say that like that's the reason why they're in it. Like, I'm glad they were in it. I just wanted to see more. I feel like that's just my overall opinion, is that I liked a lot of the stuff I saw, but I just wanted more. It feels like anytime within the first act and part of the second that it was getting to something like interesting. It was like, okay, let's move on. Like, I don't know. It was just this movie really disappointed me, honestly. Like the more I think about it, but Act Two started to get better, started to pick it up. I liked the action scenes. I thought it looked pretty cool. I know people on Twitter are stupid and have been complaining about the odd shot, which is the dumbest thing ever. You can't take a screenshot of one frame of a movie and complain about it.
No.
Or like the one scene I know later on where Thor is holding the Thunderbolt and he's just leaving Jane in the hospital when he says you stay here. People are like, ew, why does this look so ugly? I was like, you don't even understand the context of it. The movie hasn't come out yet. Like I will say there were some scenes where the CGI was a little iffy, just kind of around their head, but nothing like, not even like Black Panther third act level. So nothing that
No.
really I would mention as a complaint. I would just say, sure, you notice like the odd thing, but nothing to take away from the experience for me.
I feel like I've obviously complained about visual effects being shitty, and I will, like, if you have bad visual effects, I'm gonna tell you. Like, if I'm reviewing a movie, if a Marvel movie looks bad, like Shang-Chi, there's a lot in that movie, especially in the third act.
Really?
Actually, I would say only in the third act.
Okay.
When it's like everything is like there's literally it's just visual effects. I was like, this is too much. I almost feel like, I don't know. We don't. No one will understand unless you are a visual effects artist the amount of hours and time that gets put into it.
The amount of people that were listed in the credits, too.
I know. I was looking at it and I was like, I mean, there's hundreds of. I mean, I don't know about hundreds of thousands, thousands of people.
Yeah.
That work on it, and I don't know. Twitter is a very mean place.
It's just for people to bitch and complain. That's all it is for. It's for people to say whatever the hell they want and complain about stupid stuff. I feel like you can't complain about certain things like that from a movie if you haven't seen it. You can complain that you don't like a trailer, but you can't take a screenshot from a movie. It's like the same thing people did with that Flash scene in No Way Home where he's standing there on his phone. And it's like, you don't notice it in the movie. Who cares? Yes, there are times where the character is standing there and you can obviously tell it's a green screen, but really the shots last for like 2 seconds, so your brain doesn't fully process it, so it's okay.
And you know what's so unfair? People comparing this to the Batman. Did you see that?
I have not, but yeah, I mean they're totally two different movies.
People comparing the visual effects. It's I think I saw one thing. I was just like, I don't know. I didn't think that anything was like so bad that it's like, oh my god, I need to look away in this movie. All of it was very competent. So
yeah, exactly. I feel like you can really only compare an MCU movie to other MCU movies, especially ones with the same director and cast. So I think it was on par with the other ones, and visually towards the end, that's when it really started to get like really good. I think the battle scenes looked really cool, and there was no like cinematography or color grading or anything that was off. This was no Thor: The Dark World. There were no Dutch angles on every single shot like in the first Thor. And it's not a Ragnarok for me, but I think towards the end, visually, it starts to get better. But like story-wise, in the second act, that's where it kind of starts to pick up. Do you agree?
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like as we kind of learn more about the characters, it's good, but I even hesitate to say that because it really isn't as much as it should be. I think the stuff with Jane is pretty good as Mighty Thor, and I think that some of my favorite jokes in the film were with Thor pretending to like talk to his ex Hammer and stuff, and then Stormbreaker would just come in the frame like this. It'd just be funny.
I thought that was funny, but I do feel like it went on for a little too long. Do you agree?
Yeah, most of the jokes did. A lot. Honestly, there were so many jokes here that did not land, and nobody in the audience laughed. And I was like, I had to hold back kind of laughter to think like, nobody laughed at that, and that was intentionally a joke. And it's not like any of the Thor stuff. It's like the fucking goats. Why? Why are they? Oh my god! Talk about jokes that went on for too long. Sure, bring them in one scene, maybe two. They were there like every other scene, and I was like, shut
To be fair, like I'm not gonna. I thought the goats were fucking hilarious, but
Okay.
I think it very much so depends on your tolerance for screaming
Go.
animals.
Yeah.
So,
I think it worked when they crashed into like Zeus's place. That part it worked,
oh
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything else was like shut up.
Dude, I don't. I don't know. Maybe just Taika just doesn't get. Well, I'm really surprised that a lot of people are having bad theater experiences. Like I know you just said it. Trevor and Chris were talking about how bad theirs was, and I was like,
What did I miss that?
no,
I feel like I
I think whenever in one of their Marvel videos they were talking about how the theater was dead.
yeah, yeah, like I get it. It's not I really don't care if people cheer or not, or if they completely don't. Like for me, it really being in Canada, that doesn't really happen. The only time it really has happened is with No Way Home, not even with Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh,
But I mean, there was like even if there was a funny joke, not a lot of people laughed, or they just went, and I was like, come on, come on. Like there were some good jokes here, and nobody really laughed. So yeah, the
no, but
theater experiences.
from what I'm remembering, the people next to me were incredibly obnoxious because they had to react at every single thing. And when there was one people that would start the applause, but no one else would go along with it. So it was like, oh, sorry, it's like, but the they, they were reacting like crazy, and I think part of that could just be some people. Like I would probably say myself included. When it's like opening night, you might feel because you're more excited. It could be a little bit. You could have more emotions. Do you feel the same or no?
Yeah, oh, 100%. And again, I only saw the movie Saturday. This is the longest I've waited for a Marvel movie for a while, and that's only because I wasn't here. I was at a cottage like all week in Grand Bend. So Thursday night, and then Friday I was working. So today I saw it the earliest I could, and still I was like, I could. There were some people in there that I was like, I know you're big Marvel fans. Although more people walked out before the end credit scenes than I expected, so I was like,
Really?
so that says something about you guys because you definitely are not rewatching it.
Damn. I'm interested to see the movie if this movie has legs in the sense of box office.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I saw it got the one of the lowest cinema scores, which
Really?
it's a B plus, so it's not bad.
Oh,
Like,
is that fucking like the black and yellow one?
yeah,
That's in
it it, it
that thing is so dumb. I hate. I'm
it,
sorry. I hate that. It's so wrong every single time.
the only reason why I brought it up because it's the accumulated
Yeah,
audience
yeah,
reactions,
yeah.
right? So the fact that it's one of the lowest rated MCU movies, I think that's ridiculous. It has the same rating as Thor: The Dark World, which I think is that's
That's
insane.
going way too far, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Even
So I'm interested to see what the audience can. I think it was supposed to make like 150 million this weekend. So we'll see.
yeah. I guess we'll see. I will totally admit I'm not as into like the researching the box office stuff as so many people. Like it seems that you are. I know Chris is really into that as well. I would definitely want to be, but I always forget to look at it. But when a post like when it crosses like a pretty significant amount, like Top Gun Maverick did, then I'll like post about it.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
that's fair.
yeah, but for me, the movie started to like I was starting to be like, okay, I actually do enjoy this. At least this part of it is when they finally make the decision to go on and just straight up just like hunt down Gore, and they're kind of flying there, and Thor and Jane have a really good moment where they do, of course, kiss and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and Korg's just ahead. Wow, there's Thor, Gore, and Korg. Did they not? Oh my god, I thought that was okay. Like that scene was pretty good.
Well, speaking of Korg, what did you think of Korg in this movie?
Not as good as the other movies. Like
Okay, that's interesting.
I liked him. I didn't dislike him, but I was like, it felt like they were just putting him here for the sake of it, which sucks because I really loved him in the other movies. Besides when he plays Fortnite. That was a stupid choice. Endgame. That was stupid.
Noob Master.
New Master 69.
I I I think there might have been a little drop in quality in his jokes from Ragnarok to here,
Hmm.
but I still think he's one of. I think I like put him in the same category as Wong, like the little sidekick kind of thing.
Yeah, I like Wong quite a bit more though, personally.
That's fair, but I think those are the two memorable ones. But there's so many MCU sidekicks. It's or characters really.
So
Right?
many characters. It's really hard to compare and stuff, but I agree. I liked him here, but there was a considerable drop in quality, just joke wise. I don't really know what it was, but I didn't really find myself as interested in what he was saying in this movie. And there was that one part, like, just there were a few like mini jokes, like, and when I mean mini joke, I mean like small, when they go to like finally attack Zeus and he's like, you didn't say go. Like that one actually made me laugh quite a bit. But
Yeah,
I think Korg is best when he's subtle, so that's what this movie kind
that's
of
true.
changed a little bit. And maybe they like it, but I think I remember thinking this when watching the movie. With the MCU, now that we've had Endgame, and now that honestly, since we had No Way Home as well, they need to just do something different with these things. So that's why I like Multiverse of Madness more, is because it felt like more of a horror movie than everything. So I feel like these films, as much as I enjoyed a lot of them, they need to have something different brought to the table, and this one didn't.
Wow, that sucks. I mean,
Yeah,
it sucks that you feel that way.
yeah,
Um, I definitely feel like Phase Four is a lot of experimenting. It sounds like a lot of it's not working, but it sounds like
yeah.
there's a half that is working. Like Eternals, no one, yeah, that didn't work.
No.
I want to go back and rewatch that one because I actually did like it when I saw it, but
I thought it was fine. I think this movie is like
uh,
slightly better, but I
okay,
just enjoy. It's because that movie just, I don't know. I would like to rewatch it, but I cannot bring myself to sit through it again. If you get that.
I do. Yeah, and then you have Multiverse of Madness, which is horror, and then you have all these TV shows, which
I honestly like uh, quite a few of them. I still have not finished Moon Knight because I do not care to finish it. I will, but
so
I've fell asleep almost every single episode and I wasn't even tired. Like I've just had to push myself through it. I love Falcon Winter Soldier. I love Loki. I love Hawkeye. WandaVision was, again, I think WandaVision's better because it was really an attempt to do something different after so
yeah.
long from the MCU. I mean, it's crazy to think that we had that long of a break and now we have way too many MCU projects. And that I almost was going to make a video just saying like, is Thor Love and Thunder just like the kind of, oh, what's the term I used? Not like oversaturation. I said it in like Chris's live earlier. I'm trying to think. Like just like they've overdone it. Like there's just so much that it's hard to take it.
Oversaturated, but
Yeah, like no, I can't think of the word, but there's just so much. And there's Mrs. Marvel going on right now, which I haven't even started yet because there's so
neither
much
have I.
going on. Like I've heard it's good and I bet it is. And that's the thing, is that I'll watch stuff and I'll enjoy it. But then I'm like, oh my God, I have to start thinking about something else now because I mean, I saw something on Twitter, which again, as much as we dislike Twitter, there's some important things that are posted on there where people just finished the movie and they're like, okay, let's see what they're gonna do for Black Panther 2. It's like, can we just sit for like a week or two on a movie? We just can't at this point. You can't, for me personally, like it's so hard to just specifically focus on one movie for the MCU for longer than like a few days because there's always something new coming out about a show or a movie or a trailer. Like there's just so much that, as a massive fan of the MCU, and I have been for, I don't know, like 10 years, it's just getting to the point where I was like, okay, please, we just need to slow down, focus on what we're doing. And I still am excited and have faith for some future projects, but so much, so much. That's my little rant.
There's a lot to be said about that. Like I don't know, just the fact that if you talk to like any Marvel fan, and they'll tell you, yeah, there's too much. Like that's a little alarming.
Yeah, and that's so crazy. Like I get it's such a big franchise, but I you don't need so much. It's kind of getting to the point where it's um quantity over quality, I
Yep.
think. And I really have loved some of the stuff. Like as I said, I love Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, Hawkeye. I thought Shang-Chi was great. I thought Multiverse of Madness was solid. Same with Black Widow and stuff like that. And of course, I love No Way Home. But again, it's so hard to focus on it because let's. I know we're kind of taking away from the movie, but let's take a look at what's happening right now. So Thor: Love and Thunder came out yesterday officially, whatever. And already I've seen people ask about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That's the name, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had that. I think Mrs. Marvel is still going on, although I don't even know for sure. Sad.
Yeah. It ends this week.
Ends this week. Okay. Maybe I'll binge it. I don't know. And then we have, I think yesterday or maybe earlier today, we got the news that some people were coming back for the Echo show. That's 4 things in the span of like a few days. Now, Mrs. Marvel, you could kind of take out, but it's still going on, so people are still going to talk about it. That's 4 fucking things.
And don't forget, like within the next 2 weeks, we're gonna have much more because the 23rd of July is San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, like what else are they going to announce?
And they titled the Marvel thing as like giant MCU panel.
It's like we've had so many of those. We know what's happening in the future. Just calm down.
Don't get me wrong though. I'm gonna be pissing my pants when they like announce Fantastic Four or whatever they do.
See, that's the thing. It's the same thing. I'm gonna be so excited when they announce all these things, but still, it's so hard to stay excited about these things, and kind of the hype seems to die down so fast because you look at WandaVision, and sure, you could say it took away from it, but people were theorizing every single week, and they did not worry about any other project. It was just like every single day for whatever the 6-week span, there was something that was just some stupid, crazy theory that everybody was talking about. It wasn't like they're talking about 4 different things every single day.
Do you fall under the category of like, I think the MCU should have ended after Endgame, or no?
I don't think so, because
okay, I agree.
I get why people say it, but I wouldn't say I agree. I think Trevor in Chris's stream earlier said the best, where they should not actually, but they could call this like the MCEU, the Marvel Cinematic Extended Universe, because it does feel
really
like
is.
add-ons. Somebody said, Brandon, I think yesterday said that Endgame kind of felt like the end of a video game, and then all these other things are like the add-ons and the side missions and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is fair, but I really like a lot of the stuff that's going on. So I wouldn't say I fall into that category, but I get it.
I think from a marketing perspective, it's you can't afford to do that because you're going to keep producing billion-dollar movies. That's one thing. But also, I think there's so many more stories to tell. It's just a matter of how well you tell the story,
Exactly.
how often you tell the story, and
the characters we need to focus on.
Yeah,
like that's why I've actually liked quite a few of the shows, is because they've made me like some of the side characters more, and introducing characters like Kate, who I love, Yelena, who I love, stuff like that is a really smart choice. But there are times where I'm just like, let's calm down with the MCU movies. Let's focus on just making them really good. So that's kind of as excited as I am for Fantastic Four. Whenever we get more about that, I'm also worried that it's going to just be thrown in with everything else. I don't know.
Yeah, we really had something in 2020, and with like no Marvel content, and all we were doing was complaining, and now we're complaining about having too much.
Yeah,
so...
yeah, I agree. I mean, this is like the stupidest things to complain about, but it's worth mentioning. But
oh yeah, it is.
Getting back to the movie finally, what did you think of Russell Crowe as Zeus?
I thought it was a joke. I'm thinking about it more. I get why they did it. It's supposed to be really stupid. Like, I don't think there's any way of saying otherwise. But he talk like this. And
Yeah, that was dumb.
he talks like Mario. Um,
Damn, maybe Chris Pratt shouldn't have played him. I don't know.
Chris Pratt, bro. He's calling out Marvel.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Star-Lord and Zeus. That would have been something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as bad as people made it out to be and as it was expected. I think the scene was fine, but when he's trying to get serious with Thor and he's talking like that, I was like, what are you doing? And that's, for me at least, I assume that's not a, where is it? A Russell Crowe choice. Yeah, I don't think that's his choice. That's somebody. I don't even think it's Taika. I think it's somebody, one of the studio ones. Yeah, I don't even think Taika's like talk like that. I think it's someone being like, if you give him an accent, it'd be funny. Like I as much as that should be a director thing, I don't. It's just not something I see Taika doing somehow. Yeah,
I don't. We'll talk more about his the end credit scene later, I'm sure. But
yeah, that was stupid.
I don't want to see more of him. I was perfectly okay with him dying.
Yeah. I love Russell Crowe. I think he's a phenomenal actor. It's cool to see him here. Those end credit scenes were stupid, in my opinion, but we'll talk about those later.
Okay.
Sorry. It's gotten to the point where end credit scenes don't feel like something that you should sit there and wait around for, my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
sorry.
Cool. Okay.
Sorry. I mean, for as much as I thought the Multiverse of Madness ones were funny and I like the Bruce Campbell stuff, why didn't they just include that other scene in the movie, and then the end credit scene, they could have had the first one be like the whole like stop hitting himself or whatever it was, and then have another one that actually moves something forward. Now I appreciate this one had the thing with Hercules, but again, like the whole Natalie Portman thing was a sweet thing to see, but without it, we know that's what happened, so we didn't need to see it. My opinion.
What the hell was the post-credit scene in Multiverse of Madness?
It was he's walking with Charlize.
Right.
Yeah. Again,
I guess that really shows how memorable it was.
Yeah, it should have been in the movie. Should have just been the end of the movie.
It should have.
100%. So that's why it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, we just need something more with that. I don't know, but let's talk about the third act finally. The third act is where I think this movie shines. I don't think the first act is that good. I think the second act's okay, but the third act I think is very good. What were your kind of first thoughts on it when you finished the movie? What did you think for the third act?
I agree. I think that's really where it all started to come together. If only, I mean, I enjoyed everything else, but I think everything else, if it was more consistent like the third act, I think you could have had something really special. Instead, it's, whatever. But I think the only thing I wasn't too, I wish there was more of an emotional punch. Maybe that was just me. When Natalie Portman ends up dying, I was like, oh, I wish I was getting really emotional about this. But I think there is something to be said about how many jokes there were. For me, I can't go from laughing hysterically to then crying.
Yeah, like I think I said it earlier in the stream, where as much as I love Natalie Portman and I love Chris Hemsworth and their performances were really good, that this film is so tonally unbalanced that death just felt like, okay, we got to get rid of her. She's not going to be in any other movies, so why not? Let's just kill her off and try to make something emotional, because they have no other scenes that don't involve her that are emotional. Like, they talk about Thor's past and like losing his mom and losing his dad and losing his brother and his brother, which is funny to joke about the whole Loki thing. But like, it's like, he lost his mom, he lost his dad. Insert joke about Loki. Like there really is no other punch besides having Jane here, and The third act was definitely the standard here, not perfect. A few problems. Again, just like the rest of the movie was too short, and I agree that there was little to no emotional punch at all.
Okay, well, let me pitch something to you. So I'm like, I really enjoy watching interviews after movies if I really like the
Same.
movie, and especially, so there was one with Natalie Portman, and one of the interviewer was like, "What did you say to Chris Hemsworth?" When she whispers in your,
I wanted to know. I was thinking that too.
and she was like, "I'll never tell," and I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay, but anyway, um, I think the scene, if I from a if I were to be writing the scene, I would have had her say something like, and I'm thinking to the scene of Eddie being like, "I didn't run away this time," and I was like, "Oh, like
No, I'm gonna be
some
sad now. That's how you do an emotional scene right
yes,
there.
sometimes a line delivery, just something about it, and then like the reaction of whoever they're with, like in that case was Dustin, in this case Thor. Sometimes I feel like it just makes it so much better. So if she were to have said something to him that was like, they would have maybe had a callback to another movie or
Yeah,
an inside joke or something. I think I would have been like, oh, but instead I was just like, oh. So
just like, oh no, like it really wasn't. I as much as everyone in this world, including myself, are still talking about Stranger Things and still will, still posting more videos about it. That's a perfect example there to compare it to this. Like I think you said it perfectly. I couldn't say it better. Where that has something that calls back to something even earlier in the season, but also packs such an emotional punch. This one, people may, people will fucking complain about whatever they want, but if they called back to an earlier movie or hell, even an earlier scene in the under 2 hour movie, it would have been better than.
I agree.
So there wasn't that, but from an action standpoint, it was a really solid ending to it. It was way. I've said it a million times. I'll keep saying it. Done so fast, but I think that when he's finally facing off against Gore, Thor v Gore, um, again, and some of the shots there were so cool. I love the thing even slightly earlier on where it was all like black and white, but if they had like lightning, there'd be a little bit of
Dude, that was
saturation.
so dope.
That was such a good choice. Whoever thought of that, if it was Taika, I'm gonna give credit to Taika because he's the best.
I don't necessarily know how that works. I was like, why the hell is that affecting color? Like, I don't like logistically. I don't know if it
it
works.
doesn't make sense, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks cool. So you get a pass.
Exactly. So yeah, it's like yeah, never mind.
No, it was a really cool sequence, and it was a sequence that used its the I don't know, like the space well. Like it used the backdrop and the area that they played with. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. Like instead of having, I'm gonna go back to Shang-Chi, how it was like literally just like blue screen all around them. I'm sure, and it was like just like it just looks kind of gross, and even Thor: The Dark World too, like that brown sky.
I'll agree with Thor: The Dark World, not so much Shang-Chi, but I'll agree with Thor: The Dark World.
Well,
I get it though.
I think it was just cool how they used the backdrop well.
Yeah, I think it was cool. The stuff with the kids was a good. I think the choice of it was good for Gore's purpose because he was fucking creepy when he was like talking to them and he like appeared out of the shadows. Like that was so smart. He looked like fuck, what are those things? Oh, like a gargoyle. That's what he looked like.
Oh
Or like sit on the
yeah,
side of buildings. That's
yeah.
what I kind of saw in that. And I think again, Christian Bale really did such a good job in those scenes too. Having them all suddenly gain power. I know they're like Asgardian, but
Yeah,
whatever.
that was a
And
little.
fight. I was like stupid, but I'll give it a pass because a pass. I don't know why I just said it like that. From Texas. No. It was kind of stupid, but it's like they got to give a reason to just fight off Gore specifically, and then let the other ones deal with the other things. So I didn't, as stupid as it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
They
fine.
I feel like they could have done something different. You would have had to like totally rewrote the movie. I think I'm like trying to think of like, did all this stuff with the kids really pay off? Like, did that really needed to have happened?
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think story wise it does. I just think character, like performance wise, it just added to the creepiness, but nothing really more than that. And like Thor could locate them and all that, but whatever.
and this, uh, I know I'm jumping ahead again. Did you
That's
know
okay.
that Gore's daughter is Chris Hemsworth's daughter?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
I saw that. Natalie's kids were in the movie. Taika's kids were in the movie. Christian's kids were in the movie, and Chris's kids were in the movie.
That's cool.
I think they were all part of that big crowd.
That makes sense. That's cool. I that explains the scene right at the end where they're kind of messing around.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think the ending was cool. I just kind of got to the point where I was thinking like it would be kind of interesting if Gore kind of got something out of it besides just like losing. Like if maybe if he won like a Thanos type thing, but like I didn't really expect him to. And then as it started going on, I was like, okay, this is gonna be exactly what I expect. Gore loses and he's gonna die, but he's gonna be like, take care of my kid for me. And that's what happened. And I don't hate it, but I don't really get why Thor would suddenly start taking care of a god butcher's kid.
I don't I don't get why he or how he brought her back to life.
It was like that wish. Instead of like killing all the gods, the wish was like to bring his daughter back.
Oh, okay. Well, still, I don't know if I'm fully on board with that, but
Yeah.
like you mentioned, like talking about for character purpose, for the future of Thor and also and also Young Avengers. I get what they did.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's fine. It's just one of those things. And now that I really am talking about it, I'm noticing that I didn't like as much as the movie as I thought. I still had a fun time.
That's good.
When I was, like halfway through, I was like, oh God, this is going to be like one of the worst MCU movies. I don't think it is, but it is
Yeah.
when it comes to, it's not top tier, it's not bottom tier, it's just lower middle for me.
Okay.
Overall, I think the ending, cool little ending here. Alex says apparently Peter Dinklage and Jeff Goldblum cut from the film somehow. I don't think they would include larger.
I heard the same thing that they were cut.
Really?
I think I saw it was like a tweet or something. I don't know how the hell they would have fit into the movie.
No.
But
Love them both, but don't really get how they would have been in the film. So, I mean, it does feel like everything was cut here. But let's talk about the end credit scenes. Seems that we have different opinions on them. I'll let you go first for the first one.
So do you
Which
know
which one was first? Was it
Hercules?
okay? That's what I thought.
Do you know Big Screen Leaks? BSL on Twitter.
I don't think so.
So he's this leaker that's kind of been around for like a year or so, but
yeah, I definitely don't know then.
Okay. So I get like notifications from him on Twitter. It's him in discussing film, and he tweeted something a couple weeks ago. He was like, "Just got word that a actor from a incredibly popular show is officially making their MCU debut very soon." So I was like, Bill Hader for Barry, maybe Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso, maybe I don't know, whoever. And he was like, I can't give it away because it would be too obvious. It's Apple TV. That's like their biggest show. And hi, Trevor. And I forgot. Damn it, Trevor. No, I forgot what I was going to say.
Thank you so much, Trevor. It means the world.
But all in all, when I saw that it was, do you know what the actor's name is? Do you watch Ted Lasso?
No.
Do they have it in Canada?
Yeah, it is on Apple TV.
Oh, you guys have Apple TV?
Yeah, my brothers watched it, but I have not.
Yeah, I want to get I'm gonna get on the train soon enough.
Fair.
But
I've heard it's good.
yeah, I know Trevor watches it. I think that Brett Goldstein, that's his name.
Okay, I recognize
What
the
they're
name.
gonna do with his thing, I hope is gonna be good.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. I'll just address this. Thank you so much, Trevor, for the donation. Trevor, I know, really did not like the movie. I think he gave it like 1.5 stars out of 5. I agree, it's not the bomb. And Chris is also here. Thank you, of course, to Chris. Hope you two legends are having a great night. Ted Lasso is goated. Much love to
Dude,
both of you.
Chris and Trevor are just like texting back and forth, like in the chat, because they're probably in the same room right
They're
now.
probably
They're just
sitting
like,
directly
you
beside
say
each
that,
other.
you say that, you say.
They're 100% sitting directly beside each other.
He's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, this
Boy.
this first end credit scene, I I liked because, or no, sorry, I liked that it was bringing something to the future of the MCU. That's what I kind of said earlier, is that it really just doesn't feel like there's more. But I was completely convinced that Zeus was dead, and I was like, "Oh, he's perfectly fine."
Yeah.
That's weird. And
I don't know
then
how
it's
that
like,
works.
yeah, I don't really know what's going on here. I love that everybody's spreading the love. I think that's great. That's really nice to see. Um, but when it started, I was just thinking like, why is this an end credit scene? Like, this is just, I get because they introduced Hercules, but why was Zeus alive? I don't know. That's my take.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I do like that. I hate it when end credit scenes. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I hated Pizza Papa. That shit was stupid. But you liked it?
For which one?
The
For
Multiverse
him?
Madness, the Pizza Papa.
I mean, I thought it was funny because I'm a Sam Raimi fan, but I also
Okay.
understand how people don't like it. So, yeah.
So I thought it was stupid, especially because I think I had to go pee, so I'm just waiting. But anyway, I like the end credit scenes set up something for the future.
Yeah, this is common as facts. Here once again, let's see. MCU has no guts. I didn't feel anything when they killed off any of the characters. Exactly, that's what we were talking about. We said that Jane's death scene was the most like kind of soulless scene. Like we said it had like no emotional punch at all.
Yeah, that too. I think I think I might have commented on his video talking about we didn't really talk about it, but the fake death of Valkyrie.
Yeah, what was that?
Korg.
Yeah.
Sif, Lady Sif.
Yeah. Kind of.
So that's like 3 and Zeus. That's 4 fake deaths.
Stupid.
Does
that's
anything
stupid.
matter?
No, at this point, and then they'll just be like, "Oh, we'll just go back and fix it anyway." Yeah, like Korg's death, I was like, that was the only one out of all the deaths where I was like, "Oh, are they actually gonna do it?" And then they just grabbed his head. They're like, "Oh, it's just the head that's alive." I was like, "Oh, never mind." Valkyrie's fake death was weird. And then this Zeus one was stupid because, I mean, are we gonna see him again? I highly doubt it. So why keep him alive if he's gonna be like laying there like, "Oh, I'm dying." Like,
maybe if there is Thor 5 with Thor, or like Thor versus Hercules or something, maybe he'll be like there for like one scene. But
yeah,
I don't know.
but again, he'd be there for one scene and be gone. So it's like, but I totally agree with that. I think that's kind of dumb. Let's see this. Do either you have laughed more than once or twice while watching the movie?
Yes.
Under 5 times, I'll say. I think this is probably a hot take. I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't think it's the worst take in the world. What do you think?
I think if they played off the scene correctly, it would have worked. It would have served a purpose, and I think I would have been okay with it.
Fair.
But I think I don't know. I don't know how they decide on who and who not to kill. Maybe Valkyrie has a future somewhere in a project, but
yeah, I don't really know. For me, as much as I'll love a character, we were talking about Stranger Things a bit before, if they can do a death scene well, as sad as it'll make me, I'll appreciate it if it's done well. So there's that. But there's just something. The whole thing about having a laugh. I think that I was trying to think of it. I think the best way to put it is this movie is not as funny as it thinks it is, but there are some good jokes. But as you said, we agreed on this earlier that there are a lot of jokes here that are so overused that just get so old really fast. And I think compared to Ragnarok, this is like comedy wise, massive step down.
That's fair. I do think Ragnarok is funny. Funnier, I should say.
Yeah. This I
also saw that too.
really, I do not believe that. I could be wrong.
The fact, I forget. This is probably another interview I was watching, and they were talking about it. A majority of the Marvel stuff is literally filmed in like a parking lot because it's a big space, and then you can just put green screen all around it.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. They didn't actually like.
I thought. Sorry, that's definitely like a clickbaity type thing because I totally saw that as like they filmed some like little scene in a parking lot because when it becomes green screen put all around it, that's a movie set. So yes, thank you, Chris. You teach me the Metallica way. Yes,
Master Puppets
for sure. Yeah, AJ Reacts to posted a Master Puppets review, and I just DM'd him saying like, I'm your Metallica guy. Ask me anything. I'll give you the recommendation. Same goes for you, Chris. I know that Cam just got a Master Puppets shirt. She DM'd me and showed me. I thought that was sick. So I hope that Stranger Things brings more people into the Metallica family. So that's great. Thank you, Chris. You are the best.
What's the Metallica family called? Do you guys have like a name? You know how like
no, like, there really isn't one. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like they say like the Met family or like I don't know.
You know like the Swifties.
Yeah, the Swifties, and that's a fucking terrible thing. God, I hate Taylor Swift, but yeah, I get what you mean. I don't really think there is one unless I'm totally blanking, but no, they're just metalheads. It's Metallica, so yeah, but that goes for anyone in here. DM me about Metallica. I'll tell you whatever you need to know. And then we have the final end credit scene here. Good scene. Why was it an end credit scene though? That's my take.
Did you get a kick out of seeing Heimdall?
I was like, oh cool, he's here, he's back.
Yeah.
And then I was like, anyway, like sure. I don't know.
I was messaging with someone earlier, and they were talking about like, why wasn't it Anthony Hopkins as Odin?
True. That would.
And I was like, probably just because he was too busy or some shit. But I thought
and too expensive.
Yeah. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. I saw this. This was fucking hilarious. I saw that. I laughed so hard when I saw this. What was I gonna say? Yeah, like I didn't really mind the scene, but for me, again, I was like, why is this a post-credit scene? Like, you look at what some of the other post-credit scenes used to be. You look at Iron Man, and that, I mean, that's probably not a fair comparison, but that set up everything for the future, and there were little things that just set up so much here, and it's the fact that we knew exactly that happened. We didn't just need to see it. So it's not that I hated seeing it. I thought it was fine to see, but it just kind of felt a little bit unnecessary. But what did you think of this thing? Because I thought it was hilarious.
The podcast thing.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. You know, I don't blame him for like. I don't know if he's seen all the Star Wars movies, especially the prequels, but I don't blame him for watching them and then forgetting about them.
I think everybody makes mistakes. It's a thing that, like, obviously Taika isn't too worried about getting judged for, considering he openly has said it, at least on a podcast. I think he said it maybe a few times as well. I've seen a lot on it. And
I don't care though if she gets. Would you care if she were to come back as a different character?
That depends.
Maybe in like fully in makeup or something.
Yeah, yeah. You know, she did play quite an important role in the prequels, so it'd be pretty weird to see that. But I don't know. I honestly, they can kind of do whatever they want now with Star Wars movies. So if they can do it right, sure, but that would be weird. Like, could you imagine seeing um John Boyega come back and play a completely different character? Like, that'd be
Yeah.
weird.
Okay,
Weird.
I see that. I do.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to say is, I think Natalie Portman. The reason why I think the end credit scene, with her in Valhalla, that just leaves the door open for her to come back. I personally think she is done with big franchises. She is a Academy Award winning prestige actress, and I don't think that this stuff is her jam.
Yeah.
I'm just getting that by like watching like all the press junkets and like her talking about the movie. She recycles answers. I don't know if you. I don't know. She just
I've
like
seen only a few things, and as much as I love her, I mean, I get it. It'd be really difficult to be like, so what do you think for the future of the MCU? Well, you know, like they really have to say the same thing every time. I bet I mean, I feel bad for even more so people like Chris Hemsworth who have to answer those questions every single time there's a movie that comes out.
the thing about being in a big franchise, you are attached to it for the rest of your career, and there is no escaping that. And that's a totally another conversation. But I just think maybe if I think she could very well take another break, like she did from the Dark World to now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see her coming back. That's not even just like a personal thing like with her. I just, you know, they killed off the character and then they're like, "Oh, but she's dead." But I don't think she'll come back, but like
I think
I don't
if anything,
know.
she'll play a very very small role.
If anything, she'll be in like a dream sequence or like
Yep.
a flashback. That's it. But again, I very, very, very highly doubt that she will be in any type of film like this. I mean, if she does another Black Swan, I'm all for it. That movie is.
Oh
Have you
yeah,
seen that movie? It's
that's one
phenomenal.
of the most uncomfortable movie experiences I've ever had.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great film.
I'm just like thinking about like I don't even want to think that the fingernail. Do you remember?
Ah, ah,
I'm just like
no, the feathers. Oh God, yeah, I watched that a few months ago. But yeah. So overall, Thor: Love and Thunder is a mixed movie for me. There are scenes I enjoyed, but even having this discussion, I realize that I do like it less than even coming out of the theater. Originally, I gave it a 3 out of 5. I think I'm gonna knock it down to 2.5 out of 5.
okay.
But my opinion could change on a rewatch. But I do not plan on seeing this in the theater. But you know, I don't dislike that we had. I think Christian Bale. Wow, that was lovely. I think Christian Bale was really, really great as Gore, and I wish we got to see more of him. And I just wish we got to see more of this movie. And that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with you on some things. I don't think it. I think it's not a perfect movie. I think there are some issues, like glaring issues with it. But for what it was, I was able to have a fun time with it, and I look forward to revisiting it to see if my thoughts are the same.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm jealous of you. Honestly, I'm
Okay.
jealous because I wish I could have liked this movie more. Again, as I said earlier, it's probably the most disappointing MCU movie for me. Just and disappointing again does not equal bad, but just I
Yeah.
was very excited for it. So when this was the result of this just rushed, mixed, unbalanced movie overall with some good moments, that's just kind of my thing. What did Alex said something here? Second next movie, next goal, which was shot a long time ago. Trying to reshoot some scenes because Army Hammer. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want. Hopefully, Wilner Arnett doesn't eat anybody. That was a fucking terrible joke. Sorry. Um,
Moving on. I'm looking forward to that movie. I don't
yeah,
think it's going to be a Taika comedy, or maybe it will
no,
be. but
Maybe.
it has
I
Michael Fassbender, and it's supposed to be like a
okay.
Oscar drama, I think.
Taika can do whatever he wants, and I'll watch it, even if I don't love it like this. I'll still check it out because he has a unique style. I have to thank you so much, though, Ben, for coming on here and chatting with me for over an hour and 15 minutes about a film like this that has only recently come out. And if you're watching on the replay and somehow you made it to this point, thank you very much. And also, massive shout out to Jason, Chris, and Trevor for the super chats. And then, of course, Alex and everybody else who has joined here. It's just really nice. I love doing streams like this. I had one last night with Brandon. Love doing this, just talking to somebody and really expressing our opinions on this stuff, like movies that we love so much.
Yeah,
It's why we do this. It's why we do
it
it.
is. Yeah.
We have fun doing this. Maybe change each other's opinions a little bit on some of
Yeah,
the
no.
scenes, but
Yeah.
it's all for fun, and it's all really great. Jason is the undisputed goat. I think Chris said that earlier. I'm glad you're here, Jason. It's always nice to see you. Thank you once again. Thank you to everyone who joined. And Maynard's channel is linked down below. So if you haven't already subscribed, what are you doing? We got to get him to 1K by the end of the year at least. I can totally see it coming. Like every new thing that's released, go to his channel, check it out. Thank you once again. Is there anything else you want to say about the movie or anything?
No, I very much so appreciate you having me on. This is my first ever live stream on any YouTube channel, and
Cool.
I had a blast doing it. And I look forward to the future of both of our channels, and hopefully doing another one of these in the future.
Yeah. I mean, I bet in under another month we'll be back soon. That's my assumption. You're already a pro at this. This is great. Like
Thank you.
I when you said that, I forgot that you hadn't done any. So yeah, it's really great. And neither of us have to edit anything. So
Yeah,
that's really solid overall. But thank you to everyone who joined. Thank you, Ben, and I hope you all have a great night. If you're watching on the replay, let us know what you thought of Thor: Love and Thunder in the comments down below. We'll see you guys next time. Over and out.